Righto, we're on. It's Brian here, your health coach, or Dr. Brian, whoever you want to be. Just catching up with you today on Thursday. We're countdown to Christmas. It's very exciting. It's the 20th today, so not many more sleeps and days off and a good time catching up with friends and family. Now I'm always on an interesting quest. So one of the things I've fallen into of late is looking at health trends and looking at information that is somehow overlooked often because it's not, say an area of broad study. So my latest blog post on the website is talking about sulphate, the deficiency your doctor doesn't know about. Dr. Stephanie Seneff, she's one of my heroes. She's a heroine actually. She's done quite a bit of really interesting research in bioscience, looking at what sulphate does, so made from sulfur. It's made by the skin with the sun, so your skin is a solar powered battery, and sulphate makes cholesterol water soluble, so it can be transported in the blood. Vitamin D and cholesterol are pretty much very the same. If you look at them under the microscope, they have a very similar look. And they both perform the same role of vitamin D transporting sulfur, which is then sulfated by the sun. And then it's used at various places around the body. It's a very important compound. A number of disease states have been shown to be affected by sulphate levels. It's very important for good sleep. It's very important for good heart health. It's just an all-round good guy. And so it's very exciting to think that there's often things right under our nose, right up our sleeve. Get the sun on your arms and on the back of your hands, where those veins really get close to the surface of the skin in hot weather, which is a dilation to do with cooling, but an effect also is that the blood close to the skin can help to sulfate. It's very important for blood flow. It carries a negative charge, so it helps to keep the blood cells, the red blood cells, moving, because they have a negative charge, a positive charge, so the negative charge, they repel each other, they scoot through the narrow capillaries. It's easing the work of the heart. So I'm super excited by learning about this, and it's the subject of a few blogs because it's quite complex, and her discussions are very sort of biochem focused. And I know that for a lot of people it's just sort of like a dog barking. It's very hard to keep up with it. So my role is to endeavour to make it a bit more understandable for you good people. What's interesting too, in looking at her work and looking at various areas that she is interested in, one of her particular interests is autism, partly because she's very, very concerned about the social impact and economic impact of 1 in 50, 1 in 27, it just depends on what your stats you read, of children having an autism diagnosis, and then what the cost to the community is and the economy of so many people unable to contribute fully. And so who looks after them? How does that divert school resources? What happens if their parents aren't there to look after them? The severe cases need a very high level of interaction and supervision. And so if you do the maths on that, how many people who are currently in the workforce might need to be employed to look after people who are severely disabled? So they're doing good work, but they're not making widgets anymore. Maybe there's a robot doing it. But it's actually quite an untalked of effect of this disability, and so anything that rises exponentially is not genetic, it's environmental, and so she's been on a quest for quite some time to understand what the trigger might be. She's on the trail of glyphosate, and that's part of the last few blogs. So inform yourself about the value of organic food is the guts of that. I fell into climate science by virtue of sort of the algorithms of Facebook and YouTube sending me and pushing things in front of me. And what I just see broadly is that there's a lot of very good people doing amazing work around the world in areas of expertise. And the nature of science is that you tend to often look at things fairly narrowly, and in fact it becomes increasingly, you could say arcane, but you could also say very specific. And often you're looking at extremely complex systems. So the weather's very like your body, in that it's an extremely complex system with so many factors, and they're all interplaying. And you might be seeing something that has some sort of appears to have an impact because there's some relationship, but it could be following a change or it could be leading a change. And you may see what you're looking for depending on how you do the research. So the sulphate issue is a really interesting wild card, because it could be the clue to why certain conditions are on the sharp rise: Alzheimer's, autism, heart disease, high low-density cholesterol. And a lot of people on drugs, but they appear to be having less and less effect, and there's people who are getting increasingly unwell. And we just actually don't have the resources to medicate people and manage them that way. It's just extremely costly. And if there's something that's sort of a step removed from that that's actually driving it, then that's often the golden key of good science, is it finds things by taking a different view, and often a much broader view, and then it's obvious that the answer is actually much more basic, in that it's something that underpins all the system. So I'm very excited by learning all of this and realizing that it gives each of us a significant amount of power over our future if we are able to make choices that are based on experience and science that actually give us a great result. And then we have the opportunity to potentially have the body repair itself and enjoy a better life as we go forward. So I'll put a link to the blog on this YouTube post, and wish you well for Christmas. I do expect to speak to you before then and during the Christmas holidays. I trust it's good where you are. We're having a fabulously stormy time in Sydney at the moment. It's quite exhilarating. Anyhow, you have a great time, and all the best, and stay well. Bye.